Welcome to Kings of Kimuras.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Kings of Kimuras. It's been a minute since we've done a podcast, mainly because it's just been so busy. You know?
Yeah. Listen, when you got stuff going on, when you're competing all the time,
Yeah.
when you're trying to run classes, we just added another kids class on Saturday morning, so it's a lot. It's a lot through the week, and it's hard.
And you teach in the afternoons on Friday too, so it's like, we try to knock it out pretty quick so you can have time to just still kind of relax before you have to go teach. But
There's been a lot that's happened since we last got on here, so I guess we can start with the.
Well, actually, let's start with Louisville, because I feel like that is, even though I put it on our list of topics lower, but I feel like that's more important because of the way the team performed. Obviously you as well, right? I mean, you had some really tough matches, and I shouldn't say tough matches because you fought some guys that were high level, but you made them look pretty easy.
Yeah, I was locked in.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw Ryan Aiken's name in that division, I knew it was time to lock in.
Mm-hmm.
End up dropping the finals to him, but it's valuable experience because stepping in with guys like that, it's really win or lose. This is a Louisville Open. Nobody cares. It's just data that I'm gonna use for next time.
Right.
But in the semis, I beat that guy from Wagner's gym, this Brazilian kid,
Enrico.
super tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he ends up buggy choking Abe in the absolute finals.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I mean, I was salty at ADCC, but I understand why that he got the #1 spot for subbing Abe. But I was like, yo, where's that wedge back take to rear naked choke that I hit? Where is it?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes with really any organization, I mean, they have people that they're pushing, and his team in particular is very well rooted in ADCC, right? And we're relatively new in that aspect of it. So I think it's just a matter of time. Obviously we just got to keep putting in the hours and showing up for these events and
TikTok. It's only a matter of time. Yeah, because I'm not going anywhere. I feel like I'm hitting a good stride.
Mm-hmm.
I was just in flow state. I feel like my passing's really good. My wrestling feels really good. Trying to get my guard play back up to where I feel like I can. It's not the main thing I would use in my game, but I want that to be sharp as well. So just be a super well-rounded athlete.
Yeah, I think another thing that really helps is obviously a social media presence. I think of teams like Pedigo that had a lot of push with flow, helping them kind of get their foot in the door. Obviously competitively they're a good team, but I think sometimes that's not just enough, and I've been playing around with the idea of one of our guys, newer guy Cameron, that shoots video of doing some documentary type stuff, small format, just to.
For sure, yeah, and speaking of Pedigo, when JB was going, he's planning his move to Pedigo, he showed me a video, a little documentary that they did about those guys over there and their training and stuff. So, even though Flo might not repost it, or you might not get love from these big organizations, it doesn't really matter. It starts grassroots, and then, so it's just about really getting people in the door, getting the name out there, and then eventually over time doing that enough. And it's inevitable. It's inevitable.
Also, we had Steven compete in there. Obviously he didn't win his brackets, but he performed really well. He had some tough matches, and
some real scraps, dude, and some really good tech. And I told Steven too, it's win or lose, I couldn't care less. We're gonna still go and do the same things that we're gonna do. We're still gonna go out to eat and have fun here in Louisville, but the techniques that he showed and the big improvements in his game really came through.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the very minute stuff. He just tightens up those little things, and he's gonna be a big problem for them boys.
Yeah, he did really well in his wrestling as well, which was something I know he'd been working quite a bit on.
For sure. Yeah, everybody here. Shout out to JFLo. We've been working a lot of NoGi judo as well as wrestling techniques. Those two kind of like flow together.
Yeah. And that's something that I didn't even have on our list, but I'll talk about a little bit about being part of that JFLo instructor affiliation. For me, it's been really cool because it continues, my education as a coach, and then like reapplying that to you guys and like learning how to teach that stuff. But something else that's really cool is like, every week I've been on a call with him and the other affiliation owners as well. And we can kind of like spitball ideas about, where we're either having success or failures in teaching, and then like kind of get, direct feedback from him. So I don't really know if, maybe other associations do that, but like I've been part of a few associations in jiu-jitsu, and, every time you try to get something like that started, people are interested, but it like always kind of peters out, but I feel like he's doing a little bit better job because he's created like a whole network where, there's an app that all of us kind of log into, and we can see like people posting their techniques and, get direct response from him. So it's been very interesting.
Yeah, dude, I've loved the stuff that like we had a coaches kind of only practice where we just sat and reviewed some of the stuff that JFLo was showing. I wish we'd have had more time, dude. I could have sat there for 2 hours looking at that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's something I want to do. I talked about doing like every other month, but I feel like it's probably better to do it every month, And maybe we don't like always cover JFLo stuff. Maybe we cover like some leg lock concepts or passing or whatever, but I feel like it's good to just get in that habit of like doing it every single month,
For
and
sure.
if coaches can't make it, they can't make it. But I feel like it is important to like continue that education that way,
Absolutely. Gotta always be white belt mentality.
Yeah.
You never know everything, ever. As a black belt, I'm still learning every single day. Learning just like the minute details. That's something that even Hodger Gracie talked about. Is like, there's nothing simple about my game. It looks simple,
Right.
but the little details is what gets the simple things to work for him. So also helps when you're a giant Brazilian man, but
Yeah, that helps dramatically. So I want to talk a little bit about the ADCC European Trials. I was trying to get this information up so we can see like all the winners. But first, I want to talk about Mark McQueen. Excuse me. I know he had like won trials before, but I'd never seen him. I'm not like big on the European jiu-jitsu scene. I'm trying to get more aware of it because obviously those guys are improving. Where I feel like he kind of like dominated was in the hand fight. He's a pretty small ultra heavyweight and as far as height goes, but I know he was like coming to New Wave and to Kingsway and training with like Big Dan and stuff. And the thing that I saw he had the most success was in the hand fighting and the snapping and working the angles, which, if I watch one thing, I learned one thing from ADCC Europe, it was the lack of threat of takedown. And the guys that implemented that of like, maybe not have like superb wrestling, but they had the ability to, impose a takedown or threaten with a takedown were the guys that won.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed the same thing too. And Mark, his hand fighting looked really crisp, really sharp. Like both him and Declan, again, both winners, both heavy on the wrestling game, heavy on the collar ties, trying to take guys down, wear them out, submit them. I mean, for ADCC, that's like crucial,
Yeah, there was only one guy that you talked about, Declan. Obviously, like amazing performance. He fought, was it Marcin in the final?
Yep, submitted, took his back, rear naked choke.
Just the strength difference, I feel like, is obviously his like technique and skill, but like you look at the amount of like times that he was able to outposition him because of like the strength difference, that's huge.
Dude, freaking first-hand experience with that.
Yeah.
Dude, at that team tournament I did in Austin, that B team, I hadn't seen Declan in a while, so, I gave him a big hug, and we're in like this over-under. And I was like, all right, try to squeeze. Ready? Go. I try to squeeze him, and then he squeezes me back, and I like fold backwards like this. I'm like, okay, that's good. Yeah. You are still just as strong, probably stronger, honestly, than when we last grappled. So that's very concerning.
The next one down was minus 88. That's Pavel Jaworski. And
That kid is.
he's
very
like
good.
pretty much a pure leg locker, you know, and out of like, you know, all 5 people that won, I feel like he's the one that didn't implement any like top game, you know, so he would be like the
Yeah.
one outlier. But that's a big thing that I see, and especially in like the Polish jiu-jitsu scene, is the attacking on leg locks. You know?
Yeah, they're very, very efficient with it.
Yeah.
And like Pavel, he was doing some top position at trials. Like, he's been trying to work more like that high body lock over under style body lock passing. But obviously, like you said, his game where he's gonna win high level matches is with his guard,
Yeah.
for sure, and attacking the legs. Yeah, he's got a very, very unique style. And I think that's why guys struggle so much, is because people are just not used to seeing somebody with that kind of guard and that kind of like leg lock threat. Because some people have real bendy guards, but they're
Yeah.
not very dangerous. You know, they're just very annoying. Well, he's annoying and he can finish you, so
Right.
you gotta like be very cautious.
Yeah. The next one is Magomed. I don't even know how to say the last name. He's
me
from
see
Russia. DZHARBAEV.
Oh my god! Never mind. I thought maybe I could figure it out.
Yeah. That's one of those I'm gonna have to put in like Google to do the pronunciation, you know, and then I probably still won't get it right. But he is a guy that, you know, obviously he's a jiu-jitsu black belt, but very high level wrestling. And you know, all throughout the day, I mean, he was doing very well of like countering everybody and then waiting till he gets to the overtime and then winning on that takedown. You know, it's the same game plan he implemented against Taza in the final. And if you watch that match, like he forced Taza, he didn't score a takedown, but he forced Taza to turtle like 2 or 3 times off of single legs. And his single leg comes so fast that you can't even do that like knee whip, you know, where you turn and limp leg out of it. Because immediately he's like, as soon as he picks it up, he doesn't wait. You know, he's like already on the attack.
Yeah. That's, again, high-level wrestler. You know their chain wrestling is going to be fire. So you can't even let them touch your leg, which is obviously very difficult for most jiu-jitsu guys to do because they haven't been taught proper down blocking, cross down blocking, like head-hands defense. You know, because most guys stand so upright, you can't even get your head and your hands in a good position. This guy blows past your hands. Now you're just screwed. You're just going to get blasted.
Yeah, most of the guys stood with like a square stance, which is like typical jiu-jitsu, easy to pull guard off of, right? And like get to your closed guard or get to leg lock attacks. There weren't too many people that took like a staggered stance, you know, like a traditional, you know, head down wrestling stance. And so he was able to like blow through guys, you know. I mean, when he would hit a takedown, it would like start on one side of the mat and finish on the other side of the mat.
Yeah, very good. We'll see how he does, because some of those guys at 77 have just as good a grappling on the feet, and they're much more deadly on the ground when it gets there. So we'll see how he does.
The minus 66 was Nikodem. He's from Poland, but he trains out of that Los Banditos, and they're out of England or somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I noticed with their particular way that they approach the stand-up was almost like if you took a Gordon Ryan video of him competing in ADCC and you put it side by side, those guys, it would almost be virtually identical, where they kind of lead with that rolled shoulder, defensive hand down, and then they're like feinting like they're going to attack on shots, but they never really shoot, you know?
Yeah, they'll feint and like collar tie, right? That's kind of like, and then use that to set up drags or it's and like knee taps and stuff like that. Very like simple stuff, but again, it's the most efficient. You know, get to the underhook knee tap or arm drag into or elbow pass single.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, those
like
guys
that.
had pretty good success in the tournament, you know, until they got into the later stages where like guys actually had takedown ability. I mean, obviously, Nikodem won, but in that minus 66, I don't think you have that like real threat of a takedown in the European trials. You know, like you do, in, like as you get in upper weight classes.
That's for sure. Yeah, the higher weights you go, the more the disparities in wrestling becomes very like apparent.
Yeah, I honestly didn't watch much of the women's.
I didn't either.
Not because I didn't want to. It was just like a time thing. I mean, I literally went through like every mat, and I think each mat was like anywhere from 12 to 16 hours, you know? So I'm like trying to skip through and like watch one person consecutively. But yeah, I mean, there's like a few ladies that did really well that I don't even know who they are.
Anna, shout out to Anna. She's good. She's from Kingsway. She's pretty nice. I met her at the B team, team tournament. She's good. She's got a pretty well-rounded game. I think like her best stuff is leg locks. I think that's how she finished the girl in the final.
What is her name?
Anna Mayordomo.
Okay, I see her. Yeah, the -55.
Yeah.
It says she trains out of Easton Training Center in Denver.
Interesting. Because last time I checked, she was She was at Kingsway.
I guess she's not like official Kingsway person, right?
Apparently. You're still on the junior squad.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to work your way up.
Injana Goodman from UK Grapple Collective won the -65. I didn't watch any of those matches.
I'm sorry, yo. Yeah. We're making this look real bad. We don't know any of the
I will watch
matches.
you compete at Worlds, though. You know?
Yeah.
I will watch it.
Good luck.
Jessica Tortilla. I'm probably saying that completely wrong. She's from Finland. That's kind of I don't think you'd have that name.
Yeah, that's a crazy Finnish name. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen the last name Tortilla.
From Sigma Jiu Jitsu.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, it was like a pretty good event. You know, they put on a good show. It gave me like vibes of like 2017 trials in the U.S. where it was like in a gymnasium.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it seems like I do enjoy those shows, like the lack of, you know, I guess like pyrotechnics and, you know, just the general show, yeah. Right? I mean, it's like an old school throwback. I think that's kind of what you're probably going to get on the next ADCC Worlds. It's going to be in Finland. And
you're going to get that classic ADCC.
Oh, no, it's going to be in Poland.
Poland, yeah.
So, you know, it's not going to be, I mean, maybe they have like the drummers from was it Metamoris?
Yeah.
Yeah, they ship in the drummers from Metamoris to drum or something. But
nah, dude, no immigrants allowed in Poland. Get out.
Yeah, I almost wonder how it's going to be because obviously there's going to be a lot of people traveling there to go watch that. But, you know, Poland is like anti-immigration. And maybe they're not so bad on like if you're just a visitor, but.
Yeah. If you're trying to take up residence, you get out. Get on out of here. Especially me. I could not. And I'm not even I'm Middle Eastern. I just look it.
Let's see. We got the BJJ Ocean event. I don't know if many of you guys watched that stuff, but I watched it. It was pretty entertaining. They had 2 weight classes. It was like a -88 and a +88, I think is what it was.
I think it was 80.
Okay.
But yeah,
that's right.
Same difference, pretty much.
There were some really good matches. You know, that Paul Jaworski was doing both weight classes, and he had a match with Corbin that he ended up getting leg locked in. So,
the Woj, shout out to Corbin, man. That kid is the future for sure. He ended up he lost in the semis, right?
Jed.
To that, yeah. He like got heel hooked or something because he was in 50-50 and. Silly Corbin left his foot exposed, but you know it's a live and learn type of, like, I mean, shoot, I got toe holding in 50-50 from standing.
Yeah.
So and that was just, you know, reaffirming what I already knew in my head, which is like, dude, you gotta defend your feet, even if you think you're in the best position, you still gotta be defensively sound and aware.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get caught.
Oh no, he lost to Christian. Silly, who's Italian.
Yeah.
Right.
Good leg locks, but you know, again, I think Corbin just made like a tactical error.
Yeah.
Just left his foot dangling out there. But
I guess Marcin won that, huh?
Yeah, he did. He won the whole thing. And now, so I guess that was also like a who's number 1 thing too. So he's like guaranteed a spot on there.
Okay.
For one of those events. So that's pretty dope.
Yeah. Let's go take a look at this smaller weight bracket. The guy Jed that was in there,
Jed Hugh.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like watched much of his matches, but he honestly looked very good. You know?
Yeah, he's always been like one of those sleepers. You know, he's got a very tough guard. I remember he had a match with Cody Steele at Polaris, and he almost knee barred him. Cody did like one of those fancy backflip passes just ended right in a knee bar, and he almost got him. But yeah, Jed's been on my radar for a little while. I've seen a few of his matches, but usually it's against like really, really high level guys, so they kind of like just do the camp, get this guy tired, pass his guard kind of deal. But
he had a match. His first round was with Kieran, and it was pretty competitive. But once Jed got up on points, it seemed like Kieran didn't really have an answer for that.
Yeah, he was on the attack too, man. That was a crazy back and forth. They're both going at it. So that was an awesome match to watch.
In the final, it was Powell versus Jed Hugh, and then obviously Powell ended up winning that. I think he won it on points, so it wasn't a submission finish.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, Powell is developing some of that top game, so he's not just got his guard to rely on. But again, when he's going up against the highest of the high level, he's not going to be playing on top.
Yeah.
Because he's got no like wrestle up game or like sweeping game. Like at least when you look at Hoffa Mendez, for example, like he played a lot of guard at ADCC, but the way that he was playing guard was always to threaten getting up on top, like wrestling up or going to the back. Like he was never really going for leg locks. Like he's using 50-50 to put guys down, get on top, using like single leg X and X guard to get on top or get the back, which I think is really interesting because with the development of leg locks, I think people forget like, hey, some people you're not going to be able to leg lock.
Sure.
You got to figure out a way to still win by getting on top or getting to their back. So,
yeah, and I think you almost have a better chance of leg locking somebody in that rule set within like the first 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. And if it's not working by that time, you need to vary your attack, using those leg locks to come up to the top position or expose the back,
Yeah, for sure. You got to switch it up, or else guys will only have one thing to worry about. All right, this guy's never going to even try to sweep me or wrestle up. He's just going to try to leg lock me.
Another one in that bracket was Kenta Iwamoto. And he had some really good passing, like his ability to change side to side. And we've kind of like been working one of those reverse knee cuts. And that's something we had worked a while back, but I saw some variations from him of where he was like, after he would come around the other side, he would immediately start stacking them.
Yeah, and him and Joseph have been developing their double under or single under or over under passing. And of course, great artist steal. So I've been stealing a lot of that stuff and trying it in training because the countering the high leg with the scoop and switch like Kento is doing is really good. I also seen Joseph go for that single underhook, almost like you're going to set up an over under pass and then flanking with using that. Yeah, which I think is really effective as well. And then using that, chaining it together and going double unders if they're really defending. So I've been working a lot of that stuff in the training room.
Yeah, so some really good jiu-jitsu matches out there. You guys can go replay all this stuff on Flow Grappling, and I think that's one of like the best tools that we have. Instructionals are great, and I go through like periods where I watch a lot of instructionals, and then I go through some where I don't. But one thing I'm always consistent on is watching competition matches.
Yeah, gotta watch film, man, because especially because like you're a coach and I'm your athlete. I'm going up against guys who are out there doing these. And if I haven't fought them like yet, I'm going to fight them sometime in the future. That's just the trajectory that I'm on. So it's like you have to be watching these guys and taking in that data.
Yeah, on average, I probably in a day anywhere from like minimum I'd say is like 1 hour of film watching, which is pretty easy to do if you watch like, 5 matches. I mean, that's like an hour of film right there. But max I'll probably do 3 hours. I feel like anything more than that is like, and I don't do it all at like one period. I try to like break that up into hour segments. But if a competition is coming up, then I may like crunch down and watch a couple hours at one time.
Yeah my brain can handle about 2 to 3, and then I'm like, I'm sick of watching this, man. Because it's not like it's boring. But it's like a lot of the same stuff that you're seeing from guys. There's not really much like variation unless you're really paying attention.
Yeah, well, and I use the hack too, especially if let's say I'm like preparing somebody for a tournament and I'm like having to watch a bunch of film on one individual. I will watch those matches and I'll skip forward until like there's a score or I see something happen where like positions reversed or they've, shifted where they were at on the mat. And then I'll watch like the 15 to 30 seconds prior to that and then like up to the point of the score and then, make my notes. So I can kind of, in that instance, I can like shortcut a lot of film watching, and then some of them there's like nothing that happens. So if that is the case, like I sit there and watch the whole match because I'm like, okay, nobody scored, but this person won. So how did they end up winning the match?
Yeah, for sure. Got to take all those things into account.
Yeah.
Well, this is for all the coaches out there. For your athletes' sake, watch film.
Yeah, as a coach, you have to love watching film because if you don't love doing it, you're probably not going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And for me, Susan will like walk up sometimes, like I'm eating breakfast, and I'll have my phone up, like watching a technique, and then on the TV, I'm watching a match. She's like, dude, how are you doing both of these at once? I'm like, when that's slow, I watch this.
Yeah. And when this is slow,
yeah.
Well, I just watch that anyway.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else you want to add? I mean, obviously you got sponsored, so you want to shout those guys out?
Yeah, shout out to Butterfly X, man. You guys can kind of see. Well, let me move. Yeah. They just sponsored me. I guess it has been. We haven't done one since they started sponsoring me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that team tournament I did over at B Team, they sponsored the team, and then the guy hit me up personally and was like, hey, do you have a sponsor? Like, this is what we can offer you, yada, yada. So shout out to them. They're the reason that I've made it to a lot of these ADCC Opens. I made it to Nationals because they helped cover the registration and stuff, and they sent me, obviously, a bunch of really cool, some custom gear, some stuff that you guys can buy as well. So
do they give you like a code or something?
Yeah, D Ramos BJJ, all caps at checkout, and you get 10% off. So,
nice.
And I think the pre-order just ended, but there's a really cool Squid Games kit coming out really soon. I think it should be the first orders should go out sometime in October.
Nice.
So just in time for Halloween.
Yeah. And we also have our ADCC fundraiser that's like something we're doing here in the gym that's helping you and a few other people, be able to cover your costs to go to trials.
Yeah, man, that's the big one. Mm-hmm. So everything is just leading up to that. Yeah. Every competition, every round in the gym is with that in mind. So.
And if you guys are interested in helping out with that, helping the fundraising, we are selling raffle tickets that are $20 a piece. There's some really cool items. You can check them out on our Facebook and our Instagram page. If you don't want to do that, you just want to make a donation, you can do that as well. Just reach out to one of the athletes. And then on, what is the date? October?
The 25th?
No, that's right. October 25th. Is it 25th or 26th? It's a Saturday.
The 25th is a Saturday.
Okay, so it's Saturday. These guys are doing a seminar here at the gym where each person is going to teach one of their techniques. If you don't show up to that, you probably won't ever learn their secret sauce. So
yeah,
make sure you come out to that.
There will be no film.
Yeah.
Film yourself doing the move, not me.
Well, if you don't have anything else to add, let's cut it and get out of here.
Yeah, I'm hungry, dude.
All right. Thank you, guys.
And that's a wrap for today's Kings of Kimuras episode. Thanks for joining us on this epic journey. Remember to keep training, stay curious, and always be ready for the next adventure. Until next time, keep your guards up and your minds open.